Hello, my name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it is lovely to welcome you in to join me as we do a little bit of crafting. And I do try very hard to do this 2 times a week. Um, New time slots are on a Monday evening and a Friday morning, so do check out for those. Do pop on and say hello if you are joining me as this goes out live, or indeed if you are joining me, if you're watching it on catch up. It's always lovely to hear from you. And do remember to like, share, subscribe, all of those things that all help me to grow my little business and to be able to share more content with you. Let's just have a quick little introduction, a little bit more of an introduction to who I am and where you can find me. So my business goes under the name of Love-a-Duckie, and this is my website, loveaduckie.co.uk. And indeed, if you're looking for me anywhere on social media, look out for Love-a-Duckie. Over on my website, you'll find links to classes and shops and downloadables and all sorts of things. So do go and check that out. But as I say, look for me everywhere under the name of Love-a-Duckie, and hopefully you will find me. A quick reminder of some of the promotions that are going on during June. If you want to join the Stampin' Up family, now is a really good time to do that. I always say there's no expectations, only opportunities when you join the Stampin' Up family. And at the moment, if you pay £99 for your starter kit, you will get to choose £154 of product of your choice, and that will come to you post and package free via UPS. So it would be really lovely to have you join our Stampin' Up family. And if you'd like any more information about that, either check out the website or get in touch, and I'll be happy to talk you through that. Another promotion going on during the month of June is a 15% off selected DSP packs. This is actually most of the DSP that you'll find in the catalogue and online exclusives. There are some exceptions, but check that out on the online store and you'll be able to see which of those you can get your hands on for 15% off. Great time to stock up, and of course, absolutely no reason why you can't combine those two things and add lots of DSP at 15% off to your starter kit, your extra starter kit. Some events and things coming up, classes and things coming up. You'll find details of all of these over on my website. We've got a fancy fold class coming up next Friday. Week on Saturday, there is our Saturday Stampers for a food and drink theme. We've got our monthly card club class that is going to be using the Le Shops suite of products. So that's 5 projects for that class. Moving forward, we've got a stamp camp coming up using the Fresh as a Daisy suite. You buy the suite from myself or another participating demonstrator, and you get oodles of inspiration, 26 different projects that you're going to be able to make with your suite. Stamp stack using the Crafting With You bundle, and we've got a Completely Crackers Games Night coming up on the 14th of July. So lots to look forward there in the coming weeks. And let's just bring you back here with me. And we're going to have a bit of a play this evening with a bundle of products that I've yet, as you will see, yet to use. So let's have a little play and see what we can create. And we're going to be creating with the Crafting With You bundle, which is what we're going to be using in that upcoming Stamp Stack class. Excuse me as I fiddle around in the background. I'm just going to bring a little bit more light onto the subject. Okay, so the Crafting With You bundle, it is a stamp and die bundle available in the annual catalogue. It was new in this annual catalogue, so it is able to get it as a 10% off bundled savings. So always the best way to buy it. It is actually a distinctive stamp, so that means we're going to get all this added shading and details without any effort on our part, just by inking up the stamp and stamping it. And as you can see, it's called Crafting With You. There's lots of different crafting elements there. You've got a die cutting machine, you've got a sewing machine, you've got wool and needles, you've got some paint brushes, some pretty baskets, a lovely easel just there. And the dies bring you even more elements. So you've got bits that you can cut out. So you can cut out your easel and your sewing machine and your die cutting machine and your flowers and your wool, all of those things, the basket, the paint brushes, all of those can be cut out. And as well as that, you've got things like spools that you can add your thread to. So you've got the spool die, and then you've got these little thread dies. You've got some buttons in there. You've got a die that will make you a pair of scissors. You've got your paper trimmer. So this is your trimmer. This little bit on here makes up your slidey cutting bits to go on there. And there's more dies. If we turn it over, we've got an embroidery hoop just here. It's upside down, but an embroidery hoop. Got another basket just here, a ruler, some hearts, just some stars and some flowers. So a really great little bundle. Oh, that's the little flower. I was just thinking, what's that little die? But that's the little flower. So a great set. You've got 21 dies there. And you've got 13 photopolymer stamps. So it's quite a bumper little bundle, really, and everything you could want there to create cards for yourself or for your creative friends. A few of the samples there. You can see that easel and the trimmer. You can see how you've got that slider on the top. Your blade. You can thread your paper through so it looks as if it's cutting. There's your little cutting emboss. You can see there the scissors, basket full of wool. And if we flick somewhere to the back, I'll put a bit of paper in there. Here we go. We've got an embroidery hoop there. And the spools of thread that have actually got actual thread have been wound round those, tied with a bow. So yeah, so some really great little projects in there for your inspiration, because your catalogue, as we always say, it isn't just there as a tool for purchasing things, it is also there as an inspiration tool and something you can refer to time and time again. Right, so I think here's the stamp set in all its glory, and I think we're going to start with this easel. Peel off, as you can see, pristine, never been used. Have a little bit of basic white cardstock here, and my real trimmer as opposed to a die cut one. I'm actually going to cut this 13.9 by 9.5. And to get some pool party cardstock here. Looking a bit battered on one end, but that's okay. I'll use the other end. I'm going to cut that to 10 by 14.4. So there's that bit on just here. So that's our second and third size matting layers just there. Just grab a card blank. This is a card base that's been created with some thick basic white. 21 centimeters by 14.9, scored in half, or whatever your sizes are in the part of the world you are. It's a half a piece of cardstock scored in half. So that's going to become our base, our card base. I'm actually going to take this just here, and I'm going to take, I think, a light pool party blend. And I'm going to use my blend just to give sort of whitewash effect almost in the background. The pen is looking as if it's getting a little on the dry side. I think actually I'm going to go from the lighter one to the darker one, because that's going to give me a little bit better coverage on the colour. I'll just add in colour in the background there. And come in with the little tiny flower piece. Just reach over and grab some Pool Party ink. Let's just stamp that. This background piece just here. Right, we're going to bring in a block. And an easel. I'm going to bring in, I think, some Pretty Peacock ink. And let's just ink up that easel. Rather beautiful. Then I'm going to bring in this larger flower arrangement just here. Yeah, I think I'm going to, didn't know whether to stamp it off first, but I think I'm going to give it quite a solid colour. And then I think we'll have You Inspire Me, and we'll come back in with Pretty Peacock. I'm hoping that's relatively straight when I've die cut that, because it's a, should have die cut it first because it's a bit on an angle on that. piece of card. I've just added in a few smaller flowers in there as well. There is the die to cut that out. We will do that in a moment. So you've got ink on my fingers. That's good. Right, I'm also going to bring in the paint brushes. And I think we'll stick with the pretty peacock. We won't go too mad on colours that we're adding in. And then I did just grab the Bottled Happiness stamp set because I want this little stamp just here. It is actually intended, I think, for sort of liquid and things in the bottom of your bottles. But looking at it, I'm thinking it would probably make, let's go back to Pool Party, quite a nice little pot for our paintbrushes. Let me just pop that out of the way a minute. Our little pen pot we're going to need to cut out by hand. But the easel and the paint brushes we are going to be able to die cut. And a bit of tape, a couple of bits of tape on there, and let's find the die for the paint brushes. And we'll add that on there. Just run this through the machine. And there we have our our easel. We have our paint brushes. Just pop those dies on here. Move that out the way. And let's bring in the scissors. And snip round here. So let's get ourselves some top multi-purpose glue, and we will add our white layer with that Pool Party blends and small stamped flowers in the middle of it. That would have worked better if my pens would have been slightly juicier. But I think regardless, once we get our frame on there, I'm going to stick this with some glue, stick it directly to the card front. And then I'm going to put a bit of spot of glue on the bottom of my paint brushes and pop those in the pot. I think I'll have them at a little bit of an angle because that's how they would sit in a pot like that, isn't it? They're not likely to be very upright. Let's find a dimensional or two. Have that sitting along sort of where the bottom of the easel is as well. What would we like? Do we want something else? Perhaps some of these iridescent pastel gems. We could have one on our pot just there. Perhaps a couple of small ones just on a couple of the flowers just there. That's quite a nice little clean and simple looking card, relatively easy to put together. And of course that easel, this easel piece here, you could add photos to it. You could do all sorts of stamping and pictures in there. Whatever your heart desires. It doesn't have to be the flowers out of the set. You can be painting whatever you like in there as your canvas. And there's no reason why you couldn't, say, put a photo or something in there and add a clip back on the top of it and really personalise your cards. So that is an easel card of a whole different sort. Oh, we should have done an easel card, shouldn't we? Dear, oh dear, missed a trick there. Let's just give these a bit of a clean. And we'll put this one back in the Bottled Happiness set. Tuck that to one side for now. Move some things out of the way. The least clutter there is on the desk, the better for all concerned. Let's clean up the easel. The only thing about taking the needles out of these, it's good because you don't get the glare on the front on your video, but not so good when you can't see where you need to put your stamps back. There's that one. That little one. You inspire me. Paint brushes. And finally some flowers. Right. Now I think the other craft we'll have a bit of a play with is sewing. My younger daughter is a bit of a sewist. So let's have a sewing machine. I think the other things I'm going to want are probably from the die set. So let's have a look. I'm thinking We'll have some scissors. We'll have some thread, and I believe on the other side there's another thing of thread. Let's have some buttons. I want to die cut our sewing machine. I think this little basket just here, and possibly a ruler. I think somewhere along the line we're going to have a stitched circle. Right. Let me just cut this card in half. And let's get our sewing machine stamp. Just wondering what sort of colour palette to go for this. I might go sort of pinks. I'm thinking let's perhaps go Flirty Flamingo for the sewing machine. As I say, this is a distinctive stamp, so you do get this sort of shading effect. There we go. There's our sewing machine. You've even got the little needle just here. And a little spool on the top. Rather cute. We shall die cut that. Some tape on there to hold that down. And I'm going to just cut a white circle, I think, for the background. So let me die cut those. Got our stitch circle here. Here's our sewing machine. Out the way for a minute. I've got to bring in my mini machine to do some of these. So I think the spools, I'll have a look and see if I can find probably some crumb cake. My bag of crumb cake oddments seems to have walked. Let me just cut a little smidgeroo of crumb cake. I think. I'll just have some coloured bits of card to do some mixing and matching on reds. A bit of green. Smidgen of red. And let's go with some a bit of berry burst. Some blueberry bushels. These are all the bright colours here. Cutting off little snippets. I will do those for threads. Those. And these for some buttons. I'll have far more than I need, but that's okay. I want to be able to mix and match them. And have a bit of black and some smoky slate. You could use silver, but I think I'm just going to use a little bit of smoky slate. Our scissors and possibly our ruler as well, I think. Okay, so we've got lots of little bits of card. Buttons, scissors, do our ruler, and then we'll do some more scissors as well. And a little bit more crumb cake for our basket. Right, let's bring on down our mini cutting emboss. And let's have a look at this. There's our basket. And here's some buttons. Am I going to be able to find that die? It's just fallen down. Probably that's going to require far more hunting than we've got time for. I think it went into one of my bags of oddments and I'm not entirely sure which one. And I think that maybe we may have to be buttonless for now. Let's move the buttons out of the way. I'll come back for the ruler in a minute. Run that through. Jimba, lots of coloured bags of coloured card here now. So there's our little basket. There's two little coloured spools. Two more little coloured spools. So that's the thread. We've got 4 little wooden spools to put our thread onto. 2 parts of scissors in black. Let's have that ruler on there, those scissors on there, and let's come in with red and green. Our little spool pieces. The one's in my hand. I wonder, I can't find that one. Let's bring on our second plate and run that through. And just move my bags of card out the way. I think we'll just about get away with that. And rest these back on the magnetic sheet so we're not losing them. And our other part of our scissors. Now I do want to try and hang on to this little centre silver bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of low tack tape and just pick that up on there. Rest it on the side there so I know where that little silver piece is. Right. Bring these bits back in. Including our little grey dot. Stick that just there. And let's have a little look at what we've got here. So I think let's put a little dollop of glue on there and add some blue thread, a little dollop on there, and we'll add some poppy. So we've got Azure Afternoon, got Poppy Parade. Where are our other two little pieces? There's one. There's yellow. We have another one of those somewhere. That's definitely come out of the die. I'll keep our eye open for it and hopefully find it in a minute. Aha, there it is. Let's put a little dot on there. And let's add a little green thread. Let's have these in our basket. Right. Got our two pieces, our two scissor pieces, and our two black scissor pieces. What I want to do is cut off of there. There is a little embossed mark on there that you can I can just about see. This one is just below the little rivet hole. Let's just pop those on the top there. Obviously you can have your scissors whatever colour you like. But these are nicely reminiscent of our paper snips. A bit of glue on there. Add that to there. And we'll stick those together. Like that. That's quite gluey just there. So I think there's going to be more than enough glue on there too. Looking to find my take a pick tool with the putty end. Here it is. Let's pick up that little dot off of there and add it in there. There's quite a lot of glue on there, but it will dry. Clear. Give us a little dot. A little rivet in the middle of our scissors. And then here we have our little ruler. And hopefully you can see, yeah, those little pieces on there as well. It's going to run glue along here. I can add in my spools of thread. Just make them look as if they're sort of slightly higgledy-piggledy in there. Scissors. We've got our ruler. And we've got our sewing machine. So I have these arranged on our stitched circle that we've created. Bring in some smoky slate. I just want something to come around the edge of this circle. I don't want it to be anything too heavy. Just a bit of shading. A sewing machine. Let's have our basket of red. We're going to have this ruler. Let's tuck that in. Just under our basket there. And have our scissors lying across the front here. Life is better when you're crafting sentiment. Is that big enough? I do believe it is. In with some pimento. I'm going to bring in my snips and I'm going to cut around the edge of this. And we come, curly whirly whirly. Now, where's our add a bit of that blending around there as well, just to take some of the stark white off of it. Now, I think this needs to be this way on. Let's have a look. I'm going to wrap a bit of black card. Oh, I've got 2 bits there. Don't need 2 bits. Going to cut this black piece to 14.4 by 10, or if you're using imperial measurements, that would be 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm going to come in with some flirty flamingo that is 9 1/2 by 13.9. And that would be 5 inches by 3 3/4. I'm going to take, I think, sewing machine and some, no, actually I'm not going to take Flirty Flamingo ink. I'm going to take the sewing machine. Let me just clean this up a minute, make sure it hasn't got Flirty Flamingo ink. I'm going to take some Versamark, and I'm not necessarily going to heat emboss it. I'm just going to use it as a watermark effect in the background. And just do a bit of all over stamping with that sewing machine, just to give a bit of a background. And just need to decide whether I want to, yeah, I think I will. I'm going to cut myself a piece of vellum that is 13.9 by 9.5, or could be 5 inches by 3 3/4, if that is sizes you are using. Wrong one. That will just tone that down a little bit, but you can still see those sewing machines peeping through. And I think we'll come in with some gingham ribbon. That would look rather fun. That will pick up the black of the scissors. Right. Okay. Let us get gluing and sticking and bringing it all together. So we'll do our Versamark stamped background. onto our piece of basic black. And let's take some gingham ribbon and some tear and tape. You know, first of all, we want a bit of vellum. I'm going to where is that going to go? About there, I think. So I need to put some glue about there just to hold that vellum down. Then we'll put our piece of ribbon across the centre. That will also help to hold the vellum in place. Then we can stick our little circle of crafty goodness on there before sticking all of that to our card front. Like that. Oh, wiggle, wiggle. And then we've got our centre of here, and I think we will add some mini dimensionals too. Let's have one more. We'll have that sitting along that ribbon just there. Life is better when you're crafting. Let's take a bit more this gingham. Black and white gingham ribbon. This has been around for a little while, but it is a lovely ribbon. So if you haven't got it in your stash, why on earth not? Or why not earth bow, depending on what you're doing with it. Let's snip some of that off. And find some glue dots. Add a glue dot to the back of that bow. Then I think we just need, again, we want a bit of black, so I'm going to go for the classic matte dot. We'll add a few of those. And let's skedoodle some of these bits out of the way. So we've got quite a bit of die cutting on this one. We've used up quite a bit of those die cutting elements. We'd have had some little buttons in there as well. If I hadn't lost the button die. But I did see the direction it went. It definitely went down into my basket of oddments. So I will dig that out in a minute. But we've got the ruler and the basket and all those spools of thread, lovely scissors. Got our stamped and die cut sewing machine in the background there, and you can just see those sewing machines poking through the vellum in the background there, just to give that a little bit of interest. So life is better when you're crafting. And then we've also got a lovely pretty peacock and pool party easel card. So a couple of great little cards using this fun stamp and die set that I'm sure that we're going to have lots of fun with. As I say, and it is coming up as a stamp stack in the next couple of weeks, where we will have 3 cards, and you make 2 of each to make 3 designs, and we make 2 of each to make 6 cards. So you can either come and join me at that class in person, you can have it with the kit through the post if you are in the UK, or you're going to be able to buy the tutorial bundle if you're elsewhere in the world and just want to be able to access tutorials for the 3 different cards that I create. And obviously when you're making them at home, you can make as many of them as you like. So yeah, so that is coming up in the beginning of July. For now, there's a couple of cards that we've played with. The ones in the class will be different to this. This is some extra inspiration for you for using that stamp and die bundle. So I hope that you have enjoyed those. Let me just move my light out of the way as I aim to bring my face back up. Let's turn that out of the way. So thank you for joining me on this Friday as we do some crafting, and I'm back again next week. In the meantime, have a fabulous weekend and happy crafting to everybody. So see you all soon.